Welcome back to the newsroom here on Live from Paris. Matthew is here with me in the studio with some business news. And first up, the market's looking positive off of the back of some positive news from the Eurozone.
Yes, there was some positive news. It was a big day yesterday for France and Spain. Of course, after that downgrade they got last week from Standard & Poor's, it's an important test when they went back into the bond markets yesterday to raise several billion euros. Both countries passed the test really well. They even saw their yields that they have to pay to investors cut on the money that they were borrowing. So that was good news for them. So there was some positive sentiment in the markets. And if we can take a look at the Asian markets, we can see that sentiment is still going strong. The Nikkei is closed, and that's up 1.5% there, but all of the others as well in green territory. And over in the US as well, when markets closed yesterday, they also had a good day. There were some good unemployment figures yesterday. The weekly claims numbers that came in showed that they'd fallen to their lowest level for 4 years. So more positive sentiment. So we'll see how that plays out in later trading today.
Sure, the European market's opening up pretty soon, and let's see how these results play out on the European markets. IKEA.
Yes, now the Swedish furniture giant has just announced how it fared last year, and it's announced a profit increase there of 10%. Now, these figures actually go until the end of August, and the chief executive, Mikael Olsson, has said that actually sales growth since September has been even faster. So very, very confident figures there from IKEA. And of course, their next big area that they want to go into is India. They're carefully examining this new legislation, which is about letting foreign retailers in, because that, of course, will be a huge market for them if they can get that right.
So Indians, get ready to have your cheap sofas coming your way. Well, moving on to the Eurozone then. There's another day of talks in Athens as Lucas Papadimos' government tries to hammer out a deal over bonds. The Greeks have to persuade private bondholders to take a haircut of at least 50%. Otherwise, the next bailout payment won't be coming their way. Now, there will be separate talks on Friday with the Troika. That's the EU, IMF and European Central Bank. They say a write-down on Greek debt is the only way they'll underwrite Greece's next tranche of bailout funds. Oliver Farry has more.
Negotiations continue in Greece, with Athens staking its case on two fronts. There were further talks with international bondholders, whom Greece and the Troika want to take a haircut of 50% or more on their investment. Instead, they would get a cash swap and a repackaged bond deal. With the Troika insisting no further aid will come without bondholders taking a hit, the stakes for Greece are high.
We're at the moment of truth. Significant decisions are being made every day. Discussions of immense importance are taking place today, and the reality is, until tomorrow afternoon, many things have yet to be finalised.
Greece needs the next tranche of its bailout package to service a bond payout on the 20th of March. Economists warn that, bad as the situation currently is, a failure to meet that deadline could be catastrophic.
If we take into account the experience of several other countries that went bankrupt, social cohesion was really destroyed completely in the case of bankruptcy. I do not mean that the situation is easy with the austerity measures, anything but that. However, I have the feeling that the current situation is just a children's party in comparison to what we may anticipate in case of a bankruptcy.
The IMF said on Thursday it would like to beef up its bailout fund by at least $500 billion, but it could meet with resistance from Asian and American governments, who first want to see more progress on tackling the crisis in Europe.
And now some other company news. Shares in Google slumped 10% on Thursday after an unexpected drop in its earnings. The company blamed a slump in pricing in its core search advertising business, combined with slowing growth internationally. Google's chief executive, Larry Page, said the company's social network Google Plus now has 90 million users. That's more than double the 40 million Google reported 3 months ago.
Technology companies Intel, IBM and Microsoft all managed to beat analysts' expectations when they reported earnings on Thursday. The three companies were giving details of their fourth quarter results. IBM saw profits jump 7%, driven by surging business in emerging economies. Microsoft said net income was flat, while Intel managed a modest gain in its profits.
And General Motors has regained the #1 spot after producing over 9 million cars in 2011. The Detroit-based company emerged from bankruptcy protection in 2009 and was second place to Toyota in 2010. Volkswagen took the #2 spot in 2011 with just over 8 million vehicles sold. Now, President Obama issued an executive order on Thursday aimed at streamlining the visa application process for foreign tourists. He made his announcement at none other than Disney World. Winnie Andrews has more.
Cinderella's castle was the backdrop as President Obama unveiled how he wants America to become a little friendlier. Disney World is one of the country's major tourist attractions, and Obama's hoping some of its magic will rub off on his latest jobs plan.
More money spent by more tourists means more businesses can hire more workers. It's a pretty simple formula. And that's why we're all here today, to tell the world that America is open for business. We want to welcome you.
The problem for the U.S. is that its visa procedures have been all but welcoming since the September 11 attacks. New security measures and the lure of tourist attractions in other countries have taken their toll. The U.S. share of international travel spending dropped from 17% in 2000 to 11% in 2010. Obama hopes the U.S. can now improve its image as a top destination. And he's opening the doors particularly wide for China and Brazil, two countries with a burgeoning middle class. His plan increases the visa processing capacity in both countries by 40%. It also reduces visa requirements for low-risk travelers, like tourists who have previously been scanned. The U.S. travel industry currently represents 2.7% of GDP and accounts for around 7.5 million jobs. Obama hopes more jobs in the industry will boost his popularity and his chances of winning in next year's presidential elections.
Okay, well, finally, if you remember playing with your old train set when you were a kid, Matthew's got something that takes it a little bit step further for you.
Yeah, this is a really big train set to play with. If you're a fan of train locomotives, in particular those classic old steam trains. Now, this is in Poland. How's your Polish, Catherine?
Not fluent
Okay,
today.
I'll give it a go then. It's Jaworzina Śląska, I'm going to say.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, it's a place in Poland where they've got 120 of these beautiful old steam trains, but problem is they didn't have enough money to renovate them and get them looking like that one there. So they opened up the engines for adoption. Quite a clever scheme. You can pay 350 euros to get your name on one of those, and it's helped them make them like that. Okay.
Get them back on track.
Absolutely.
Hey. We all like a pun here on France 24. Thanks very much, Matthew, for your trains, for your business news. See you later for more.
See you later.
That's it from us for this half hour of news. Lorna Shaddock back in just a couple of minutes with more news and headlines for you.
Watch all of France 24 on France24.com. All of France 24 in French, English and Arabic on France24.com.
Gabon loves challenge. Gabon loves nature. Gabon loves action. Gabon loves progress. Gabon, Africa's emerging choice. Join us. Be a fan of Gabon.